Hello, my friend. Welcome to practice. Today we're going to work on the art of becoming unbothered by things, because sometimes things are quite bothering. And I think I'm not alone in wanting to be as unbothered as possible, no matter what kind of challenges are around in life. And that is what we're going to work on today. So welcome. I'm Brenton, if you haven't practiced with me before. This is my wonderful pal Ollie back here. And today we're going to get started in a restful position, in a Savasana. So however you want to do that, you can lie down on the floor or even on a couch. Your legs could be straight out in front of you, but they could also be bent on the floor or with your lower legs swung up on something like an ottoman. Go ahead, use your hands to scoop your head up off the floor, pick it up, stretch it back, and when you place it back down on the floor, do it so that your chin is more tucked into your throat, and so that your forehead and your chin are about level to each other in space. And if you do that and then it just goes back and your chin pops up, then get yourself a pillow. Feel your rib cage get very heavy. And your sacrum, your triangular bit of low back, in between your little back dimples, that gets really heavy too. Then relax your armpits and relax your shoulders. The first step to becoming unbothered is to notice what being bothered feels like. You might call it anxiety. You might call it antsiness, maybe even potentially anger or frustration, but a general sense that things are not right. And just take all of that information in right now, whatever might be on your mind and in your body. Now, the first step of noticing the ways in which you're bothered. This is an ongoing process. We never quite finish this or outgrow the need to do this exercise. We always want to be looking inward and asking ourselves, what is bothering me? Is something bothering me right now? And sometimes the answers that come back to you are not very refined, and that's frustrating. Because you're like, oh no, that's not it. So that's good. It's part of the iterative nature of figuring something out. You need to go through naming it incorrectly so that you can name it correctly. Now just notice where you might be bothered in your body right now. Do you feel any pinching, let's say in the back of your throat? Or your neck, rather? Do you feel any tingliness or numbness in your feet? Pain in your low back? And once you identify, maybe you're not bothered, in which case, don't invent something. But the moment you notice that you're bothered about something, the next question is, okay, what about my environment can I change to help me relieve this nuisance? And so when you find this in your body, for example, let's say it's a pinch in the back of your neck, you start to say, okay, what could I do to change my environment here? So maybe I could roll my neck around a little bit and I could see if that produces a better environment for me, that I just accidentally find a better environment to be in. And sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes the answer is no. This is what I like to call trial and error. And sometimes you find that you are bothered by something that you can't resolve in your environment. Let's say you're bothered by your parent and you can't resolve it in your environment by limiting your exposure because you live together, let's say. So then it becomes, okay, strategy number 2 is how, given that I'm bothered by something that I can't really change, how do I change how I relate to it so that I experience less annoyance? And that's what this next little bit of our physical practice is going to be. It's going to be about giving us just a little bit of challenge, not too much, just a little bit to set off any sort of little bother alarms inside of us and give us the opportunity to see them anew, so that maybe when we leave this place, we have a better shot at making really healthy, productive choices for ourselves. So in the spirit of this, go ahead and come to your back on your yoga mat if you're not there, with your feet on the ground in front of you. Pick a position that you feel comfortable in your feet, your ankles, and your knees. And if you feel bothered in any of those places, keep playing around and change your environment to see if you can land on something that feels more appropriate for you. You're going to press down with your feet, scoop your hips up off the ground. And now notice here if any part of your skeleton feels particularly bothered. Like, do any bones feel like they're crunching together in places? And we're going to go ahead and tap the pelvis up and down from the floor, because this will give you a time to toggle in and out of it. And if something was bothered, the change in environment on the up and down is going to help give you some more information of what could possibly feel better for you. We want the low back to feel nice and spacious. And now you can feel your muscles actually work here, like your big butt muscles and your hamstring muscles. I hope you feel both of those working. And depending on your relationship to movement, you might really enjoy this sensation. Or if you're a couch potato like me, you might feel this and be like, stop. So there's some times where this is fine, this is actually good, this sensation. Our muscles are supposed to feel something when they work. So sometimes we find out that we're bothered for no good reason at all. See if you can hold your pelvis up here. And practice, we're going to let the muscles get fatigued. That doesn't mean that anything gets dramatic. That doesn't mean that you overdo anything. It just means that you stay unbothered, you watch your sensation, and you try to figure out at what point is it appropriate to set your pelvis down, not because you're bothered by anything, but just because you feel like, okay, cool, I've fatigued my muscles enough. Wow, I am so surprised by how long I'm holding my pelvis up here. Good job, my friend. Go ahead and lower that down to the floor. Wow. Move around in any way that feels good here. In between your yoga poses, this is your time to look at residue. Okay, soles of the feet on the ground. I like a little bit of external feedback, so I'm going to take a yoga block in between my thighs, just so I can feel my thighs work a little bit here. Not a necessity. We'll interlock the hands behind the head. And then we want to pull the belly down and the front ribs down to lift the head up off the floor. Your head is soft into your hands, chin tucked into the throat. And here, this is where you breathe. So try to keep breathing nice and low as you can, and try to let it be steady. So I don't know about you, but I'm shaking a little bit up here. We want to let this shake be okay psychologically. As you feel ready, keep your low ribs tucked in as you release the head down to the floor. Come on up off the shoulder blades again, head soft into the hands. And now we're going to move from the rib cage, twisting an inch to the left. Let your head go into your hands, come back through center, twist an inch to the right, come back through center, lift up, and come on down. So I'll repeat that a couple of times, but I want you to check in with your jaw and your tongue. Let that all be nice and soft. Check in with your eyes and your forehead. Let all of that be soft and unbothered as you come on up off the shoulder blades. Head soft into the hands, twisting one direction. No big deal, coming through center, twisting the other direction. No big deal, coming through center, lifting up, coming all the way back down. Come on up off the shoulder blades again, head soft into the hands. Twist one way using the muscles between the ribs. Come back through center, twist the other way. Come back through center, lift up. And you did it. Good job, my friend. Come all the way down. Go ahead here. If your hands are clean, take your thumbs into your eye sockets or your forehead. This can often be a very soothing thing to do. And so just feeling the thumbs press down, if you want to give yourself a little bit of a massage. Massage is a really great manual tool to release any kind of stuck communication between the brain and the muscle. Like, have you ever noticed that you're furrowing your eyebrows, but you've been doing it for 10 minutes and you didn't realize it until just now? So there's kind of some stickiness in there. And use your thumbs to clear out all of that stickiness. Good job, my friend. Let's go ahead and in any way that you'd like, come on up. And we'll move toward Dolphin Pose. Dolphin Pose is elbows down onto the floor. Narrow. That means close together, not wide, because the close together is going to help you feel like you're hugging in to your body. When you go wide, it feels like your body is pushing out. So that's not what we want. We want to feel like we're hugging in to our body. You decide if you like your hands wide or clasped, and then we'll tuck the toes, lift up off the knees for dolphin. Now right away here, sense what's going on here. If you're a shoulder person, you might not be able to do this. You might need to change your environment so much that you do a different pose, tabletop cat-cow, for example. And so what you're doing here is you're figuring out, okay, am I bothered by something? If yes, why am I bothered? What is it about the situation that's making me bothered? Now I know, like, can I tweak anything in my environment? Good job. Let's take the knees down to the floor. Come on up to the hands. Move around in any way that feels good. What's sort of speaking to me is stretching one leg out to the side so that I can feel a little stretch through the inner lining of the leg and just sort of moving around here, firing up some sensation. Feel free to move on your own for the next 30 seconds or so. Anything that's calling your name. When you feel ready to start powering down your practice, come into any position that you'd like to close in. You can lay down on your back. You can lay down on your tummy, which can feel very rejuvenating and relaxing. You can come to a comfortable seat. Wherever you choose to be, take a moment to get yourself comfortable, which is another way of saying get yourself unbothered. And if you're not going to get yourself unbothered completely, as much as possible. What's realistic today? My hunch is that it's probably fairly natural for us to not like to see our loved ones being bothered. We don't like to see our children or our parents or our spouses being bothered or annoyed about things. If we could, we would take all of that away. Our pets, our dogs, our cats. We want everyone to just be kind of cool. When we see people being bothered, we mirror that, and we also feel a little bit of their pain. So this practice is all about treating ourselves the same way that we treat like the people that we love and our loved ones when we see them in pain. And we say, oh, I don't want to see you in pain. For some reason, we have a hard time turning that inward to ourselves. So this is a very good contemplation. It will really help us make better decisions for ourselves that we feel more aligned with, and that when we look back on the decisions that we've made recently, we feel proud of them. Like we feel like we're still in line with them. And I think that's what we're all looking for, just that peace of mind and heart, that we are living our life the right way, according to ourselves. All right, that's the sermon today. Before I wrap up, I want to say a quick thank you to everybody who's donated to us. If you'd like to donate to us, you can do that at yogainyourlivingroom.com/donate. And as always, we'll see you right back here on the mat for more yoga.